What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 133 of the Anthony John Amy's podcast. And today I want to talk about the insane benefits of water fasting. Last week, I decided to join a good friend of mine in a fast. He's basically a fasting expert, I guess you could say. He's gone up to 30 days without food before. Now, me, on the other hand, I have never really ever fasted in my entire life outside of intermittent fasting. I've read about it. I've heard about it, but I've never done it. I've never gone days on end without eating any food, but fasting for a longer period of time is something I've always really wanted to try as of recently. It's just something I've really felt pulled towards. So when my buddy said, hey, man, I'm going to do a fast for the week, I was like, I'll join you. What do I need to do? Now, it's funny to me because when it comes to trying new things, I have this way of being where I don't like dip my toes in slowly. Instead, I dive in head first. It's what I do. And I'll have to tell you, it was amazing. I'll tell you about it in this episode, and I'll even share some of the benefits that science is showing about fasting. So if you're at a place where you want to take your connection to God's source universe, whatever you want to call that, to the next level, or maybe you just simply want to sharpen your mind and body, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amy's podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amyx. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Now, before we hop into the insane benefits of fasting and why I'm recommending that you try it, I want to let you know about my brand new book called Unstoppable Beacon. I'm really excited about this book because it captures my life's work up to this point, and it's going to help you know how to maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. Now, the book is going to start its pre-launch on April 14th. Now, you're going to be able to grab it for a smoking deal. Plus, I'm going to hook you up with some epic bonus trainings when you buy the book. So to get on the first to know list, simply go to unstoppablebeacon.com. Christy Scales, who's an award-winning sideline reporter for the Dallas Cowboys, she's read the book already. She thought the book was incredible. It's amazing. Guy Mesger, who's a former UFC world champion, he wrote the foreword to the book. He has a lot of great things to say about the book as well. And I'll tell you, I think the book's amazing, if I must say so myself. And more than that, it's a work of art. I have poured more than $12,000 into creating this book. And to me, it's not just a book. It's a transformational tool that really holds the potential to help you become unstoppable in life and business if you'll read the book. So head on over to unstoppablebeacon.com to get on the first to know list when and get you hooked up with all the goodies when it releases. So with that being said, let's get into today's episode. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, last week I completed my first fast. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. That's just for me, a way of life for me. It's been 2 years I've been doing intermittent fasting. I'm talking about a full-on fast where I didn't eat for 4.5 days. No food for 4.5 days. Like all I did was drink water and some snake juice. I'll tell you more about the snake juice later on. And I have to say, it was incredible. I was blown away by how clear my mind became and how present my body became over the time period. It was just incredible. And I can totally see how spiritual fasting can be, because it seems to bring you into what A Course in Miracles calls the holy instant, otherwise known as the present moment. And a lot of cool things, they happen in the present moment if you've never entered into that space. In Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, there's this story about Jesus being tested in the wilderness. Scripture says, starting in verse 1 in chapter 4 of Matthew, then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. And Jesus answered, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you're the Son of God, he said, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. And Jesus answered him, it is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. And Jesus said to him, away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil left him and angels came and attended him. Now, I love this story. I really do. And I like to believe that Satan in this story could be nothing more than the mind of man, potentially. And here's what I mean by this. When I was fasting, my mind would tell me I was hungry. But when I connected to the truth, I wasn't hungry. I didn't eat food for 4.5 days, and the entire time, my body was never hungry. I didn't experience a single hunger pain. I didn't. Yet every single day, thoughts of food would enter my mind. I remember one afternoon by day 3 or something, I was walking through a house and I looked over at my wife and I said, you know what sounds really good right now? Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookies. And my wife said, are you hungry? Because she wasn't doing the fasting thing. She thought it was crazy. And I remember looking over her and I was like, no, I'm not hungry at all. They just sound really good to me. And this is what I mean by the mind of man. Like, it plays tricks on you. It's crazy when you decide not to eat, how you can become aware of the thoughts that your mind is feeding you. And they just come out of nowhere. Like, your body isn't hungry. And yet your mind is like, yo, man, this would be good. That would be good. You should eat some food right now. And so when I hear the story about Jesus being tempted in the desert by Satan, there's a part of me who's curious if the story is illustrating Jesus wrestling with his own egoic desires. I mean, he'd been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. I can only imagine how present he must have been, because after 4.5 days, my body was extremely present, like so present, I could feel the moisture in the air. I could feel the cold air coming into my nostrils. I was just extremely present. The only way I can really describe this, and this will make sense if you've ever taken psilocybin mushrooms, it's almost like the level of presence that you have when you are after a mushroom trip. Like, there's just this, if you've never had a mushroom trip, then you probably don't understand. But if you have, there's this level of presence where your body is just super, super present in the moment. You're not on a journey or thing. Your body is just clear. You're super present, and you can feel the moisture in the air. If you've experienced that, then I think you'll get it. Now, one thing I love about the story of Jesus being tempted is he led himself to his desires. He didn't fall victim to Satan or his mind, just like I didn't fall victim to my mind's game during my fast. Now, I had decided I was going to fast, and it was done. End of story. And, I believe a lot of people, they get derailed from their greatness because of the mind games that they give into. They buy into the lies that their own mind feeds them. And part of my invitation to you today is to create situations on a weekly basis, if not daily, that allows you to learn how to discipline your mind. Because you really only have two options. Like, you either run your mind or your mind runs you. Now, for me, part of my daily habits in disciplining my mind is a cold shower every single morning after I take my normal warm shower, cold shower, and then meditation every day pretty much, and then my weekly workout commitment. And now I'm playing with this idea of fasting every single week, like at least for this month of April, and then I'll see if I want to continue moving forward with it. And the cool thing is, when you learn to lead your mind, your life gets a lot better. Like, what used to bother you, what used to trigger you just doesn't even show up on your radar. How you respond to stress is vastly, vastly different. And the cool thing about this whole water fasting stuff is not only are there some incredible spiritual benefits and some wonderful mindset takeaways to take from it, there's also some insane, crazy health benefits. So I was reading this article on healthline.com, and it listed things like it may promote autophagy, which is a process in which old parts of your cells are broken down and recycled. Pretty crazy, right? And several animal studies suggest that autophagy may help protect against diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, and heart disease. And research also shows that longer water fasts may help people with high blood pressure lower their blood pressure. One study found that 82% of people who had high blood pressure saw their blood pressure fall to healthy levels after a nearly 14-day fast. Now, there's other evidence that water fasting may lower the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and cancer and heart disease. And one study, 30 healthy adults followed a water fast for 24 hours. Then after the fast, they had significantly lower blood levels of cholesterol and triglycerides, which are two risk factors for heart disease. Like, insane, right? Now, to be clear, Healthline.com suggests doing longer water fasts with medical supervision. Now, for me, I'm probably just a bit crazy, and I guess I just tried doing it myself. But I did talk with some of my friends who are just like fasting nutcases and have done a ton of fasting experience. And one of the things they mention I do is to drink this thing called snake juice, because it ensures my body gets the right amount of electrolytes, which supposedly helps curb hunger and headaches and just keep your body in a really good, healthy place. And snake juice, it's not from snake venom. It has nothing to do with snakes or anything like that. It's just water, some Himalayan salt, food grade Epsom salt, and potassium chloride. At least that's the recipe I found online and used. And that recipe called for a liter of water, a quarter teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, a quarter teaspoon of food grade Epsom salt, and a half a teaspoon of potassium chloride, which I didn't have any of that besides the Himalayan salt in the house. So I just went on Amazon. I ordered it. It came like, the next day because, Amazon. And I would drink a liter of that a day and then about another liter of water or so a day. And I was good. And after 4.5 days, my body felt amazing. And I could have gone 7 days or more, but I also knew that after about 72 hours, the great health benefits pretty much start diminishing for my body type. And I didn't want to start eating, my body start eating away at my muscle, because I've worked really hard to put on a little bit of muscle over the past 6 months. So I broke my fast after 4.5 days. And then this past week, I fasted for 60 hours. And so for the whole month of April, I'm choosing to do a 60-hour fast once a week. Essentially, I stop eating Sunday after dinner, and then I'll eat again on Wednesday starting at lunchtime. Now, I used to think that not eating was impossible. Like I remember talking to my sister this week about fasting, and she's like, how do you do that? That's crazy. And apparently I bought into the lies about food. Like, it's crazy. Our bodies don't need food all of the time. Our bodies don't need 3 square meals a day. And I found my mind and my body and soul, they actually feel wonderful when I'm fasting, not to mention how science is showing that it's great for our health and our longevity. And it's really not that hard. Like this whole thing of fasting, it's just a simple decision. So the lesson for you today is to realize that your mind plays tricks on you. Like after fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, Jesus was tempted by his mind or by Satan. We'll probably never really know the real answer. And he demonstrated what leading that part of you looks like. So my invitation to you this day is this: where in your life, where in your business are you allowing your mind to play games with you? And what may be possible for you if you choose to discipline and lead that part of yourself? Like, how much better would your life be if you didn't give in to the games your mind plays with you? And lastly, if you want to play on the edge of your growth zone, why not try out fasting? Like, give it a try. Try out a 48-hour fast this week, and you may be blown away by the experience. So that's all I have for this episode of the Anthony John Amick podcast. If you know someone who needs to hear this episode, send it over to them in their DM, screenshot it, share it on social media, send them an email, text message, whatever you have to do to get this episode into the ear holes. And also, please keep those 5-star reviews coming over on iTunes, because that is what helps get this show found by more people. And it does me a solid, because I put a lot of time and energy into creating this free content for you. So it'd be a great way for you to give back to me. So thank you so much for being here. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amick podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.